Welcome, everyone, to our class today where we are going to have fun with tongue twisters. Now, tongue twisters are excellent to help you develop clear speech because tongue twisters are really going to be the key to help you train your mouth to speak English. This is exercise that native speakers do. We do it when we're children to help us develop our speech abilities, and a professional adults, especially who actively participate in public speaking, such as news anchors, presenters, keynote speakers, practice tongue twisters. So you are going to do the same. Now, a tongue twister, what is this? This is just a sequence of sounds. And the sequence of sounds are designed to be challenging. So when you're reading a tongue twister, saying it out loud, and you say, oh, this is so difficult. That's the point. It's supposed to be challenging. And it's challenging if you pronounce it quickly and correctly. Now, the purpose of tongue twisters is to say them as fast as you can, because that's how you train your mouth. So we'll start slow with the tongue twisters, and then we'll start doing them faster and faster and faster. Now, tongue twisters have so many benefits. They'll improve the clarity of your speech. You'll help practice naturally occurring difficult sound combinations. Now, this is an important thing. These sound combinations naturally occur. So when you're speaking, you might have to say two words together that are a natural tongue twister. They're naturally difficult to say. So by doing this practice of tongue twisters, practicing difficult sounds, you'll be more likely to say it clearly. Tongue twisters are great. They strengthen the muscles that you need for speaking, and they train your brain and your mouth to speak faster because they help you coordinate that transition. And it also helps you build confidence with fast speech. There are so many benefits. So let's start with level 1 beginner tongue twisters. Now, this isn't a tongue twister that you normally see, but remember I said that tongue twisters naturally occur. This is something that I say, my students say every single day, basically. You use the word English, speaker, side by side every day. This is a natural tongue twister. Switching from SH directly to S in English speaker is a natural tongue twister. So this is a real world example of why you need to practice tongue twisters. So there's one thing you can do in the real world, but this is not a tongue twister exercise. In the real world, you can use a strategic pause when you have difficult sounds. So instead of saying, I'm a confident English speaker, because those sounds are going to get mumbled in your mouth, you can put a pause. I'm a confident English speaker, English speaker, English speaker, English speaker. So you can put a pause between difficult sounds. So that is one strategy you can use in the real world. But just keep in mind, in this lesson, tongue twisters, you don't add pauses. Tongue twisters, you practice the difficult sounds as quickly as you can to help your brain understand the pattern and form connections. English speaker, English speaker, English speaker, English speaker. You say it again and again and again, faster, as fast as you can, until your brain is comfortable with those difficult sounds. So you need to practice this out loud. Say it now, say it out loud. English speaker, English speaker, English speaker. You have to practice these difficult sound combinations. You must do it out loud. So that's what you can do with this. Say it 10 times as fast as you can. Do this every day until you're confident with it. But just remember, in the real world, you can always use this strategic pause. So let's practice. This is probably the most famous tongue twister in English. And remember, tongue twisters are meant to be challenging. They're meant to be difficult. And yes, this is also a very famous tongue twister as well. So it's very difficult in English to transition from SH to S and to have many S's. So notice we have SH, S, S, SH, SSH. That is difficult for your brain to remember this. So you practice, practice, practice to make sure you understand it. So you can start a tongue twister slowly, but just know a tongue twister must be fast. You can practice it slow just for practice, but saying it slowly isn't a tongue twister. You must say it as fast as you can. So slowly, she sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now, as you're practicing, you can also just take individual words and try those together. So you can just try, she sells seashells. You can just try those 3 words. She sells seashells. She sells seashells. She sells seashells. And the faster you go and the more repetitions is going to be difficult for your brain. And you're eventually just going to say it incorrectly. That's the point. She sells seashells by the seashore. So open your mouth, start slow, and see how quickly you can go. I'll start slow and I'll say it faster and faster until I can get it to a very fast pace. Okay. She sells seashells by the seashore. 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 See, I screwed it up. Even there at that fast pace, it was a little bit jumbled. It wasn't clear. Remember, the purpose of tongue twisters is to help you produce difficult sounds clearly. And even that one time of saying it quickly, I could not produce this clearly. And so you keep practicing until you're able to produce it clearly. What does clearly mean? It means that the sounds are fully heard the correct way. She sells seashells by the seashore. So that was clear. But then the faster you go, the less clear your speech becomes. She sells seashells by the seashore. 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 So actually, I did that pretty well, probably because of the practice I did slowly. So you can practice slowly and then work your way up. Okay. So share in the comments, how many times can you say this either slowly or quickly without making a mistake? And try this out loud. You must try this out loud to practice. So if you're enjoying this lesson, put yes, yes, yes in the comments, like this lesson and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson as well. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. So you can get this absolutely for free. Just go to my website, enter your name and email, and this will be sent to you directly. Now, in the Finally Fluent Academy, you can get feedback on your pronunciation. So you can submit practice exercises where you speak aloud, you say your example sentences out loud, so I can identify what sound combinations are difficult for you. And then I can give you additional practice to make sure that you improve those specific sound combinations. So if you want to get personalized support on your pronunciation and all areas of your English, you can do that in my program, the Finally Fluent Academy. You can go to the link on the screen or go to the link in the description to learn more. All right, let's keep going. Oh, thank you so much, Ariel, for your support. Now, this is difficult. We just practice S to SH and S, S, SH, S, S, SH. That's difficult. Unvoiced TH, think, and then sink is also very difficult, especially when you have what we call a minimal pair. A minimal pair is where think, sink are exactly the same except for the beginning. So if you put the S on, if you take off the TH and you put the S, it will become sink. And same thing with sink will become think if you change the S to a TH, right? That's called a minimal pair. Minimal pairs are very beneficial, and especially if you have specific sound issues. So, based on your native language, there are certain sounds that in English, they're difficult for you. So, what is that for you? Let me know in the comments what is a difficult sound or two sounds that you commonly confuse. For example, many students confuse W and V, unvoiced TH and voiced TH, or unvoiced TH and T, R, L. These are difficult sound combinations. What do you find difficult in English? We can practice that as well. Okay. Now, so you have to practice this. Think of the sync. Practice it slowly. Tongue twisters, remember, are not slow. Native speakers, we don't do tongue twisters slowly. However, for English pronunciation practice, absolutely start slow and then move on and go faster and faster. Think of the sync. Now, you want to exaggerate the mouth movement. So for think, you have to think of the mouth position. So for your tongue is going to be between your teeth. And then you're going to push out the sound. Think, 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 think. Now, what happens when you go to sync? Your mouth position is different, right? So your mouth extends. Your teeth are together. Your tongue is not in your teeth. Your tongue is behind your teeth. And you push out the sound. So you have to get comfortable. Look in the mirror. Right now, I can see myself, which is very beneficial because I can see if I'm producing the mouth position. So if you look in the mirror, you'll be able to see, oh, wait, I'm not forming TH correctly because my tongue isn't between my teeth. Okay, so once you get the mouth position, once you get the individual sounds, you can say it faster and faster and faster. And for all my students watching live, if there is a certain word combination, a certain sentence that you find difficult, put it in the comments. That's what we're doing right now. Put your difficult words or sentences in the comments and we will practice them together. Think of the sync. 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 Oh, I screwed up. See, just right there, once you get faster and faster, eventually you're going to make a mistake. And that's the purpose of the tongue twister. You do it as fast as you can until you screw up. You screw up. That's what a native speaker says to mean to make a mistake. We say screw up or mess up. We use both of those. I screwed up. I messed up. It's how a native speaker says make a mistake. Okay. So that's the point of a tongue twister. You go as fast as you can and you do as many times as you can until you make a mistake. Now, for English pronunciation practice, write down how many times you did or understand the speed. And then you need to practice at that speed because that's where you made a mistake. So you need to practice so you can next time do it faster or you can do more repetitions. So let me try it again. I'm going to start slow and then I'm going to go fast. And I want you to do the same thing. Open your mouth and practice with me. And remember, put your difficult sound combinations in the comments, put your difficult words, and we'll practice them together. Think of the sync. 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 Okay. I already screwed up. So I didn't do it that many times, which tells me this is a useful sound combination even for me to practice. Because yes, certainly in a regular day, I don't say think of the sync. But there are many, many times where I say one sentence that includes an unvoiced TH and an S very close together. And that's why we're doing these tongue twisters now to help you get more practice and get comfortable with these difficult sound combinations. Okay, yes, this is a good one. This is on my list. Oh, this one is not on my list. I'm not familiar with this one. We can practice that as well. Okay, how about this one? Seems simple. Sometimes the most challenging tongue twisters are just two words. That's it. But transitioning from one to the other. For me, saying English speaker, two words I say all the time is actually quite difficult because that SH to S isn't the easiest sound combination. Thank you so much for your support, Jorge. Okay, so let's try this. Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. So eventually, the end of this is going to blend in with the beginning of this, and this Y sound is going to get confused. So again, remember, you can always use that strategic pause. So instead of saying English speaker without a pause, you can say English speaker, English speaker. In the real world, your goal is to get that pause as small as possible. So same thing, I can say toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. That's not a tongue twister, okay? That's real world practice, because a tongue twister, you would not add a pause. Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy. I already screwed up. This is how difficult tongue twisters are for native speakers. And think, I'm not just a native speaker. I'm a native speaker that practices English articulation every single day. And I could only do this 3 or 4 times without screwing up. But that's the point. You will screw up when you do tongue twisters, but your brain is getting comfortable with these confusing sounds, and it's helping your mouth form faster connections. So you will be able to say these faster, and you will be able to speak faster, but with clear articulation, clear speech. Okay, so this is actually quite a difficult tongue twister, even for me. Let's keep going. How about, oh, this is a famous one. Kids do this all the time because kids have difficulty with that p sound. So we have to, native kids, we have to practice that sound to make sure when we're speaking, we're able to fully articulate it. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Okay, so you're practicing that, what we call a plosive, p, where you shoot out air. Peter, Peter. So Peter. Peter Piper picked a peck. Peter Piper picked a peck. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So notice for pickled, this ED is pronounced as a soft D. Pickled, 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 pickled peppers, pickled peppers. So you have a pa, 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 which is difficult to say again and again. But think, how many times would you naturally have to say a P sound multiple times in one word? Now, Natalia, if it's easy for you, you need to say it faster. Native speakers, when we do tongue twisters, we're not trying to get the most number. We're trying to go as fast as we can until we mess up. The goal of a tongue twister is to make a mistake. You want to increase your pace until you're saying it so quickly you make a mistake. Why? Because that's how you practice. I could say this hundreds of times if I say it at a slow pace, but you need to say it as quickly as you can. That's a tongue twister. So if you're, again, whatever your number is, say it faster. Challenge yourself. Your goal is to make a mistake. Okay, so start slow and then say it faster. But remember, native speakers, we don't start slow with tongue twisters. We always say them as fast as we possibly can. But for our purpose, start slow and go faster. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck. Okay, I screwed up. So that tells me that I need to keep practicing and then get to that point and practice more. So I need to keep practicing because I couldn't even say it one time at that fast pace. But doing that helps train my brain and my mouth to form those connections in real speech. Okay, so keep it up. This is such great practice for your articulation. My tongue is rolling in my mouth. Exactly. Awesome job, everyone. Oh, this is also a famous tongue twister for kids, native kids. We practice tongue twisters as native kids all the time. We do it with our friends. We do it in school. It's just a fun thing to do because you laugh, you make a mistake, and then everybody laughs, and then the next person tries. It's just a very fun thing to do. So I recommend you try this with your friends learning English as well. Okay. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. It's this scream, ice, cream. So scream, cream, and then ice. That's difficult. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. So that, of course, practice slowly. Make sure you can articulate it, then go faster. Okay, so I'll start slow. I'll go fast. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. This one was easy for me. So this tells me this sound combination I don't have a problem with. Okay. So this is also where if certain tongue twisters are easy for you, that means that those sound combinations you're comfortable with. So you can just check this off. But this one, I messed up when I got faster. This one I did as well. This one I was pretty okay with. And this one also. So you have to just think which ones do you need to practice more and more. Okay, so this one, check for me. This was a check for me. Maybe this was very difficult for you. That's why every student has different needs. And that's why in the Finally Fluent Academy, I work with individual students because some students I'm working on R and L, other students I'm working on TH, some students I'm working with W, V. Every student is different. So you have to know what you specifically need more practice with. Okay, let's move on. Intermediate. Those were the beginner ones. Let's keep going. How about this? Lots of students know this one. This one is practicing would. Now, remember, as you're practicing, start slow. Would. Okay, how much would a woodchuck? Would, W-O-O-D, and would, the modal verb, W-O-U-L-D, are the exact same pronunciation. Keep that in mind. So you're saying how much would? How much would a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could chuck wood. Okay, could is the same as would, but it's just a C instead of a W. So let's try this slow and we'll go faster and faster and faster. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Okay, I ran out of breath. So sometimes you might have to give up just because you run out of breath. So this is actually a really great breathing exercise as well, because when you do tongue twisters, You're not supposed to take a pause at all. There should be no pause between the end and the beginning. So you also have to make sure you take a deep breath before you start. So this is a really great breathing exercises. It allows you to be able to produce more words in a single breath at the same time. So this is a really great one to practice. Okay. Oh, I know this one is difficult. I don't like this one. Okay. And the longer they are, it's just the longer ones are not that fun for me, but we'll do this. We'll do this together. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. So going from Wuzzy was a. Okay, notice Wuzzy was a, Wuzzy was a, Wuzzy was a. Remember I said you can practice the individual sounds. So we have to get comfortable with Wuzzy was a, Wuzzy was a, Wuzzy was a, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a. Okay. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Notice bear and hair rhyme. It means they're the same sound. If I take the H and I put it onto the word bear, you're going to get hair. Yes, the spelling is different, but the sound is the same. Bear, hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Now notice, was he at the very end, was he, is exactly the same pronunciation as wuzzy, as in Fuzzy Wuzzy, which is the name of the bear. Okay, so just like you have a pet dog, a pet cat, well, the name of this bear is Fuzzy Wuzzy. But Wuzzy is the same pronunciation as was he. So if I say that quickly, was he? Was he there? Was he there? Was he there? Was he? Was he? Was he? So this is so helpful to help you get those sound combinations because as you know, native speakers, we love combining our sounds. We don't say, did you? We say, did ya? For example, going to, gonna. Was he? Was he? Was he? So that's a naturally occurring sound combination. Okay, guys. Whew. Let me take a deep breath and we're going to start slow and then we're going to go faster and faster and faster. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy. Was he? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy. Was he? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy. Was he? Fuzzy Wuzzy had a bear. Oh, I said Fuzzy Wuzzy had a bear. So instead of saying was a bear, I said had a bear. So the second you make a mistake, you stop. Okay, that's what the tongue twister is. The second you make a mistake, you stop. So this one I actually found quite easy, but it was really good practice. Even for me as a native speaker, it was really good practice to force my mouth to move quickly, to change sounds quickly, to think quickly, and to articulate fully. So even as native speakers, this is such great practice for clear speech. Highly, highly recommend this. Okay, I need some tea. Definitely drink some water or some tea as you're doing this. Let's keep going. Oh, this one's hard. This one's a hard one. Okay, Betty Botter. So this is the name of the person. JForrest, Betty Botter. That's the name. Betty Botter bought. So no, Botter bought. Botter bought. Because B-O-U-G-H-T is pronounced exactly the same as B-O-T. Bought. Bought. So we have Botter bought. Botter bought. Botter bought. Betty Botter bought some butter. Okay, so now we're practicing very similar but different sounds. Botter, butter, botter, butter. This is very important for mastering the difference between sounds. Because, yes, ah, uh, ah, that's the only difference between those two. Ah, very similar, but different. So it's important to practice those combinations. Ah, ah. This student said, I don't even say so fast, even in my mother tongue. Exactly. That's because you don't do this practice. See, public speakers like myself, people who make speech their life, I speak professionally for a living. As a result, I must have clear, articulate speech. Public speakers like myself, we do this training daily to make sure when we speak in public, we are able to articulate clearly, fully, quickly to improve our speech. So, the reason why you can't speak that fast in your mother tongue is because you haven't practiced. And there's nothing wrong with that because most likely you aren't a public speaker. But keep in mind, we are all public speakers because every time you present your ideas, every time you order a coffee, you are speaking. So you might as well improve your speech. So that's what we're doing. Betty bought some butter. Butter. So just practice those. Butter. Just doing that back and forth is such good practice for your articulation, how clearly you produce sounds. Butter. And yes, Native American speakers, we pronounce T's between vowels as a D. So I don't say butter, is der, butter. That's pronunciation in American English. So butter. Now let's move on to the next difficult part. Butter, bitter. So we have different vowel sounds. Butter, bitter. I. Notice how my mouth position changes. I. Did you see how small the change was between I. It's so small in mouth position. So this is such useful practice to make sure you have that vowel sound. A, ba, b. B. You can just practice those sounds again and again. And woohoo, you did it. That's awesome. Congratulations. Practice this. Celebrate when you do one. Start slow and then go faster and faster, but start slow. Okay. Let me say this slowly and then I'll do the full tongue twister. But I'll say it slowly first. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. Okay, that was slowly. Whew, let me get ready. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. Betty bought I think I screwed up. I don't know. Something sounded weird here, so I stopped. That was pretty good. I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. But just know, these are exercises I do as a public speaker. These are absolutely exercises you should be doing regularly to clearly and fully produce sounds and to make sure you can articulate those subtle differences. Butter, bitter. Butter, bitter. Butter, bitter. Butter, bitter. Whoa, even there. That is a tongue twister on its own. Okay, awesome job, everyone. Let's keep going. This is one I'm not familiar with. I have never done this tongue twister before. So let's see how it goes. 6 slippery snails. So that's hard right there. 6 slip. This is a not that 6, that and then S, because 6, what is the sound? The end of the sound is is S, 6. But then I'm starting with an S, with slippery. And then I have another S, snails, slid slowly seaward. This is S, 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 S. Whew. This is difficult. 6 slippery, oh my goodness, I just screwed up. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. This is difficult because I've never done this one. I've done all the other ones that I shared. I've done it. Now, I've been doing them since I was a little kid. They're famous tongue twisters. I've never seen this tongue twister before. So I have not practiced it. This is an excellent lesson on how practice is how you improve. And native speakers need practice. Okay, so let's start slowly and let's move on to faster and faster. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. I don't feel confident doing this one faster. I need more practice because doing it at that slow pace, that was challenging for me. Okay, so this one I would circle and I would say I need to practice this one. And when you're doing tongue twisters, the ones that are easy for you, well, just check. You don't need to practice that anymore. Keep going until you find a difficult sound combination. And yes, in the real world, it's very unlikely that you're going to say one sentence with this many S's. But it's absolutely possible you will say one sentence with 2 S's, with 3 S's. That's absolutely possible. And that's a likely scenario to happen regularly. And that's why we're doing this practice, because when I say a sentence in the real world, when I have to perhaps talk about a company name and that company name has 3 S's, well, now I will be prepared because of all the practice I did. Okay, let me try it fast the way native speakers do the tongue twisters. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. 6 slippery snails slid slowly. Oh, I feel like I can't even do that one twice. Okay, I have to practice this one more. Let's keep going. I think someone mentioned this in the chat. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. Big black bug. Ooh. Similar, not exactly the same. I also do not know this tongue twister. Okay, you can say I screwed up or I screwed it up. It being the tongue twister. I screwed up just is in a general context. I screwed it up. I screwed up the tongue twister. But screw up does not require an object, which is why both of them are grammatically correct. Sometimes you require an object. So saying just screw up may not be correct because you need an object. But in this case, you do not. Now, I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe I was just saying I screwed up. I screwed up. I screwed up. I messed up. I screwed up. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Okay. I'm going to say this one slowly because I've never done this before. This seems too long. I'm not looking forward to this one. A black bug bleeds black blood. Notice how much I'm articulating. A black bud. Oh my goodness. A black bug bleeds black blood. I feel like that alone should just be the tongue twister. I don't think we need the next part. What color blood does a blue bug bleed? This is very difficult. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, a lot of students, my students say they can understand me, but they can't understand native speakers. That's because I practice articulation and I can speak quickly and still articulate all my sounds because I do this practice. Regular people do not do this practice. Because of that, when they speak faster, their clarity reduces. When I speak faster, my clarity is the same because I've done these exercises so many times. So that's an unfortunate thing about learning from teachers or public speakers is our speech is clearer than average people because of the training that we do. But you can absolutely improve your clarity by doing these exercises as well. I do exercises like this every single day. Before I record videos for YouTube, for example, I always do vocal exercises to make sure I can speak clearly and I can speak quickly but clearly. These exercises will help you as well. Okay, let's try this. This one's difficult. A black bug bleeds black blood. I think honestly, I would just start with this for myself as a native speaker, because I think doing the whole thing is a little too much. A black bug bleeds black blood because you have to go from blah, buh, blee. So you have to think about sounds. When I, as an English teacher, when I see words, I don't really see them as a word. I see them as sounds. So here I see e. So I know I need to get comfortable with those sounds. E, e. Now, that's a vocal exercise that I do and public speakers do. We just practice sounds. E, e, e. Now, when I practice those sounds, I can say black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed, because I just practice e, 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 e. So you can do that as well. Black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed. So for me, I feel like I need more individual practice before I attempt to do the whole tongue twister. And that's how I recommend you practice pronunciation. Think of it as sounds, practice the confusing words, and then you can look at the full tongue twister. You do not have to take this paragraph and read it from start to finish. Just like I just focused on the sounds and then I said 3 words. And now I need to practice these 3 words again and again and again until I'm confident saying them. Black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug bleed, black bug. Oh, I already made a mistake. And then you can do the full thing. But just for fun, I will do the whole thing very quickly, the way a native speaker would. A black bug bleeds black blood. What color blood does a blue bug bleed? A black bug bleeds black blood. What color blood does a blue bug bleed? A black bug bleeds black blood. What color blood does a blue bug bleed? That's very difficult. Very difficult. This one, I need to practice. Okay. Oh my goodness. Advanced. I feel like that last one was definitely advanced. Let's keep going. Maybe right now, your eyes, your tongue looks like this. Just know right now, I'm tired. My mouth is tired. My tongue is tired. My abs from all the breathing I've had to do, my abs are tired. I need more water. This is serious exercise for your mouth, for your diaphragm, where you breathe from, your diaphragm. This is serious exercise, okay? Devote 10 minutes a day and you will speak faster and clearer in 30 days. But ideally, you need a coach to make sure you're producing the sounds correctly because you may not be able to distinguish if your vowel sounds are correct. That's why I provide that personalized feedback to my students in the Finally Fluent Academy. So, again, if you do want my support, my help to make sure you are producing the correct sounds, you can get that in the Finally Fluent Academy. Okay, whew. I need a little break, everyone. Okay, our next one. I've seen this one before. I need water. Exactly. Don't drink coffee right now. Coffee, I mean, tea has caffeine as well, but I'm drinking herbal tea, which does not have caffeine. Water, hot water with lemon, hot water with honey, herbal tea, those soothe your throat. Coffee does not soothe your throat. All right. Have your coffee at the end of the practice to celebrate, to give yourself a reward. I just practiced for 10 minutes. I'm going to reward myself with a cup of coffee. Okay. Olive oil. Yeah, I'm sure there are many things you can do to coat and soothe your throat. Let's try this one. Irish wristwatch. That right there is difficult. Irish wristwatch. Because what are we doing? Again, just look at sounds. I hear sh, Irish, sh, sh. But then I have to go from sh to r, to r, sh, r, sh, r. Okay, so WR is wrist. It begins with just R, right? Wrist, just like right. WR, right. So the sound is SH to R. Okay. Sh, r, sh, r, sh, r. So you can practice just that sound combination. Sh, r, sh, r. Irish wristwatch. And then watch. We have a CH at the end. Ch. So you have to go from ch to sh, ch, sh, ch, sh. So you have to go from CH to SH. So again, practice the sounds. Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Right now, I'm putting what I call a strategic pause. Irish wristwatch. I'm pausing between the two because I know without more practice, I can't articulate, which means say clearly these sounds. Irish wristwatch. I can't say it without a pause. I need to practice. Irish wristwatch. So maybe I should just practice wristwatch. So you practice that sound again and again. And then your mouth and your brain are getting comfortable with wristwatch, and do it again and again. But remember, the purpose of tongue twisters is to make a mistake. You will never say this over and over again without making a mistake, okay? Swiss wristwatch. So again, slowly articulate it. Once you're comfortable, you can try to say it together. So now I will say it together. Irish wristwatch, Swiss wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Swiss wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Swiss wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, swish. Oh my goodness. Did you hear me say swish? Swish? That is not clear speech. And that's what happened to native speakers when they just are speaking very, very fast. They will produce incorrect sounds. Their clarity will reduce. So that's why practice like this is so beneficial. So this one, I need to practice. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do this one. How about this one? This one maybe will be easy because we've already done the S to SH. The she sells seashells. So maybe this one will be a little bit easier because of that. I saw Susie. So I saw Susie. So we have saw Susie, SS, sitting in a shoe shine shop. Okay. We have SSS, SH, SH, SH. So that's what we're doing. Our brain needs to go from SSS, SH, 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 right? So this is why you do this practice to help you when you're in the real world and you need to say English speaker, SHS, when you need to say that 10 times a day, you can say it fully because of all the practice you've done. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. This one's pretty easy for me because we've done so much practice with S and SH. So now I will say it fast. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. I saw Susie sitting in oh, I screwed up on that last one. But another thing, maybe you heard me, but I had to take in more breath as I was speaking. That's not an easy thing to do. So doing this also helps you practice your breathing because without air, you cannot produce sound. So when you're speaking and you have to speak for quite a long time, you don't want to have to stop to go and then keep talking. You need to be able to take in breath while you're still talking. That's not an easy thing to do. You need to practice that. So doing tongue twisters also helps you practice your breathing because without breath, without air, you can't do that. And yeah, I nailed this one. Woohoo. This one was easy for me. Check. Okay. So here we're going W to CH. So W, W, and then ch, and then wa, ch. So wi, ch, wa, ch. Which. So notice here, which, like which one do you want? And which, the Halloween, the Halloween costume, which, exactly the same pronunciation. Okay. Which, different spelling, same pronunciation. Which, would, watch, which, watch. Okay. So I think about sounds. I always think about sounds. So wa, wi. I'm going from wa to wi. That's my vowel change. Wa, wi, wa, wi, wa, wi. I'm going to do that over and over again as a vocal exercise. Wa, wi, wa, wi, wa, wi, wa, wi. Not the word, the sound. You don't need words to practice pronunciation. You need sounds. You only need to practice sounds. And then I have to also go from wa to ch. Wa, ch, wa, ch, wa, ch. So I practice the sounds, I get it, and now I'll try it slowly and then I'll go on. If two witches were watching two watches, which witch would watch which watch? Okay. So the sounds aren't necessarily difficult, but it's constantly changing. And it's also having different spelling, but then your brain has to produce the same sound, even though the spelling is different. Your brain gets confused. Your brain is what tells your tongue and your mouth to form different positions. If your brain is working like this, then you can speak like this. If your brain is then your mouth is going to be so you need to get the brain mouth connection working faster. Okay, let's try it. We're going to do it quickly. Let me have a sip of water. Tea. It's tea. Herbal tea. All right. Now cold herbal tea. If two witches were watching two watches, which witch would watch which watch? If two witches were watching two watches, which witch would watch which watch? If two witches were watching two watches, which witch would watch which watch? If two witches were watching two watches, which witch would watch which watch? If two witches were watching two watches, which witch would watch which watch? If two witches were watching two watches, oh, no, I screwed up. But that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with myself with that one because I've never done this tongue twister before. But I have practiced these sound combinations a lot. So that's why, even though I have never done this tongue twister, I have practiced these sounds and this sound combination many, many times. So it's easy for me to take that practice I've done with the sounds and do completely different word combinations because words are just sounds. If I know the sounds, then I can produce the sounds in different words, right? That's the logic. That's why we're doing these tongue twisters. That's why we're training our brain. Thank you. Thank you. That one, yes, nailed it. Woohoo, I did it. But some of these I did not do very well, which is great. I'm glad you are seeing me make mistakes, because that lets you know that it's normal and natural to make mistakes. Okay, let's keep going. What do we got? Okay, well, that was actually our last tongue twister. I have some full sentences for you, but that was the last tongue twister. So we're going to leave it on that because it's 9 o'clock. It's the end of the class anyway. So I thought there was a question. I'm just looking back. Okay. Okay. I don't see it. Anyway, awesome job, everyone. Remember, from this practice, I personally know that there are certain sound combinations that I need to practice more. So I personally am going to spend some time, 10 minutes per day, and I'm going to practice the sound combinations. Remember, when I practice, I don't just start saying it out loud very quickly. I understand the sounds, not the words. I understand the sounds. I understand the switching. So do I have to go from sh, ch, sh, ch, sh, ch, ba, and then I practice those sounds, and then I say the words, and then I say the full sentence. Okay? All right. So there you go, everyone. Now you have all the practice you need. Those are all the tongue twisters you need. You don't have to use any others. That will give you enough practice for weeks and months. So keep practicing. And I'm glad you're keen on practicing tongue twisters, Hidaki. That's awesome. And yes, absolutely, we will do another lesson. I have these full sentences, so we can practice those next time, perhaps, if there's interest. So let me know if you want to keep practicing your articulation, let me know. And remember, I have this free speaking guide for you. You can download this from my website. Just enter your name and email, and this will be emailed to you absolutely free. And also, I saw some students in the comments asking about how they can join the Finally Fluent Academy. So just go to my website. Let me just pull it up quickly here. So you can this is the link to go to join. And then that takes you directly to the page where you join. If you need more information, you can go to this link to learn all the details about what's included, how the program works. And remember, in the Finally Fluent Academy, we can work together on your pronunciation. I will review your practice exercises and give you personalized feedback on the specific sounds that you need to improve to make sure that you are producing your sounds clearly and correctly. And remember, this is practice that everyone needs to do, including native speakers, to make sure they can articulate their sounds clearly. So I certainly hope you will keep doing this practice. This was a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Put yes, yes, yes in the comments if you did. And if you want more lessons like this, if you want to keep practicing your pronunciation, let me know and we will do a part 2 and we will keep practicing. And I know that there are certain tongue twisters that I need to practice, like that Irish wristwatch. That was very difficult for me. So I need to practice that one. I am going to practice that one. That's my work for this week. So woohoo, I'm so glad you enjoyed the lesson. Awesome. I am so glad. Keep practicing these tongue twisters. All right. Part 2. Yes, we will do a part 2 for sure. All right, everyone. Part 2 it is. We will do a part 2. Have an amazing rest of the day, rest of the week as well. Bye, everyone.